Beneath the surface of all human-computer interactions is a rich and varied set of emotional responses and behavioral dynamics. Until recently, the most common emotions associated with computing devices were frustration, annoyance, and boredom. But fortunately, the quality and fluidity of user experience has taken major leaps forward in recent years. Now we all have a lot more fun and we enjoy and appreciate the virtual worlds we inhabit a lot more. And not only that, but we can even map out now what happens in our psyches when this occurs, when we have these delightful experiences. We can map this out in ways that we can actually use to design in those positive reactions. In this section, I'll reveal what goes on inside you, me, and your users, and how we're learning to dance with our devices. Now I'd like to introduce you to an entirely new dimension of human-computer interactions. This is what I refer to as the dance, and we'll refer to the dance in this section and when we come upon these topics in other parts of the online academy, because this describes a new kind of dynamic relationship between humans and their devices. Today, in the world that we live in, people and their digital interfaces now operate and flow together in a new kind of synchronicity that we have never seen before. As our devices get smarter, faster, more personalized, more full of features, and as these devices learn about and actually start to anticipate our needs, we're in a whole new realm now of user experience and how people interact with technology. So the study of this dance reveals some of the most important human dimensions of the interactions that are occurring for you out in the world right now. So this is a pretty cool area, and it's exciting for me to be able to present this to you. And it's like this. The individual and the collective actions that users take are, in fact, the building blocks of your online success. The steps to what you're trying to accomplish online are determined by the steps that users take when they interact with their devices and when they interact with what you put behind the glass on their devices. Therefore, your overall success in the world is dependent on this. So let's take a closer look at this, because this goes to the heart of what you're trying to do with all of your users. Interfaces and what we do with them are becoming more advanced. And here's a fun little picture of the progression of cell phone or smartphone devices over the last 10 or 15 years. The key dynamic here is emotion. We are now exhibiting emotional reactions to these little panels of glass. And if we design them well, there's a chance for us to connect with users emotionally like never before. Now, these emotions are not the frustration, confusion, and annoyance that we have so long been familiar with our computing devices. Now we actually experience delight, fun, ease, fluidity, and even joy. We've come a long way, and we're just getting started in this new realm. You see, the traditional lines within HCI have blurred. So the human, the computer, and the interaction are more merged. It's like Zen philosophy, where in Zen philosophy there's no separation or distinction between the doer, the doing, and what's being done. They really are all one phenomena. Similarly, with our devices, there no longer is a clear user, a system that they're using, and a task that they're doing in that system. There is simply a singular experience that blends and blurs all of these. With the new gestures, voice control, even brainwave control, and with intelligent systems that learn our preferences, our behaviors, and our patterns, we're all moving in that direction. And it's just going to get more complicated and actually more elegant. This new emotional context leads to an entirely new approach to human-computer interactions, and it's called emotional design. Here are the key insights about what emotional design is and what it means for you. First, it's built on the powerful connections between feeling, knowing, and doing. I'll talk more about that in a minute. As a user, if an experience feels right to me at an emotional, visceral level, I'm more likely to believe that it's for me and that it's right and that it'll be meaningful and worth my time and effort. Therefore, and this is the most important aspect for you, as a user, I'm more likely to act. I'm more likely to engage, to actually do something. And the more likely I am to want to put forth more effort into what I'm doing. And that effort represents the actions that, again, are the essential building blocks, the essential steps in our online endeavor that lead to the opt-ins, the registrations, the orders, and all the other ways that we want users to engage. Here's some examples. Now, we all have strong associations with, and in many cases, attractions to, our own personal preferences for exceptional design. Mine are wristwatches, fine writing instruments, preferably fountain pens, leather bags, fly rods, and the better the fly rod, the better the fishing, and my iPhone. Now, you probably have your own preferences for exceptional design as well. So what triggers for you an emotional reaction when you experience something? Now, it could be a physical something or it could be a digital or virtual something. What triggers you when you encounter something that is designed and executed just right? Now, something to consider. Take the pen example. Does a fine pen make me a better writer? Or take the fishing example. Does a superb fly rod make me a better fly fisherman? Now, they might, and here's why. Because if they help me feel better about those roles and those activities, it's possible that they give me more confidence, a greater emotional sense of delight, and more involvement in the actions that they enable. Which, of course, begs the question, for whatever you do or provide online, for the interfaces and the experiences that you're putting out there for your users, if you design and execute that superbly, can that help your users feel better about themselves? And if so, how does that impact their willingness to engage what you're offering and therefore accomplish the outcomes, complete the actions that represent success for whatever you're trying to do online? Let's break this down a little bit further. Let's look at 3 key aspects of emotional design from a more scientific behavioral view. Now, remember that one of our 5 core truths of HCI is that humans and their actions determine everything that happens online. With that insight, with that truth in mind, consider this. When I interact with your systems, in me, this starts in the realm of the heart as affect and my visceral response. Do I like what I see? Do I view it as credible? Do I see it as well-designed, attractive? Meaning, am I attracted to it? Does it respect me, or do I feel like it respects me? And do I feel like it enhances how I feel about myself? Now, this is an immediate, unconscious, emotional reaction. But if all that happens, the next part of it is cognitive. This is where I engage my head at a cognitive and reflective level. Now, what do I think this is about? Is it for me? Do I believe, again, cognitive, do I believe my experience will be easy, enjoyable, productive, meaningful? Then, once my head and my heart, or my heart and my head, getting it in the right order, are engaged and on board, now I move to the behavioral realm where I'm going to actually take action. What will I do? What action will I take? And again, those are the actions that represent the discrete steps on the path to your success, to your outcomes. Now, consider what you could accomplish and how you could engage real people if you had the skills and the tools to interact with your users at this level of meaning and engagement. If you could work with users, if you could impact and influence users at this level of the heart, the head, and the behavioral level. So this is it. This is core to what the dance is all about. This represents the latest leading edge HCI science. These are the essential behavioral dynamics and key principles of human-computer interaction. So consider, how can you apply these methods to transform all of your online programs and your business and your other endeavors, and therefore open the possibility of changing your outcomes and ultimately your professional life? The possibilities here are very powerful. So this is an important science that I think we should all be paying a lot more attention to. When you look at this, these are like the stair steps leading to the outcomes that you seek. Again, I can't overemphasize this. User emotion and cognition drive attitude. Attitude in turn drives motivation. User motivation in turn drives some series of focused, sustained actions. And those actions in turn lead to the results that you're looking for. Very important to keep that in mind. This is right at the core of the dynamics of those humans and how they interact with all those devices, all that technology. Okay, so why is this important? So as we've explored in this realm of the dance and emotional design and how it reveals human behavior is really important to your online success because it goes right to the heart of the human behavior that creates your business and operational results. This is the future of human-computer interactions. And if you own a good smartphone, you already are experiencing it now. You really know firsthand what this is about. It's only going to get bigger, better, more engaging because we're in the early stages of creating intelligent devices that will learn, remember, and anticipate. So we're just at the tip of this. It's just going to get more amazing. And again, this is a culmination of a lot of the other aspects of HCI that I've shared so far. This is what brings it all together. It engages all aspects of the user, the heart, the head, and the will. If you can master those aspects and build emotional design on that foundation, you're on your way to being an HCI rock star. And good for you. This is important stuff, so do your best to try to incorporate this into everything you're doing. Now again, I'm a strong believer in doing the right thing for your users, your business, your team, and ultimately yourself. In addition to all the obvious business benefits of mastering this new realm of emotional design and the dance, there's also a desire, as I have, as I suspect you have, to simply do the right thing for your audience, to deliver quality, to be relevant and useful. Everything that I do in the academy and the HCI systems that I teach is all about fulfilling that promise. That's really what this is about. And so your ability to do the right thing by understanding these human dynamics is going to be very beneficial to your users and your audience. It can be very beneficial to you personally, and it's going to really help you do the most for those users, those people that you're trying to serve out there in the world. Okay, so for this realm, for the dance, what do you need to know? Well, first of all, HCI and how it's influenced by emotional design is right now the state of the art in this realm. So trust me, you have to get the basics right before you're going to trigger true, positive, lasting emotional responses from users. That's why I cover all those other topics on user narratives, on usability, on seamless, on being useful, on functional integrity, and all the ways that you're going to do inquiry to uncover all of those before we get to this behavioral science and the dance. So this is really essential. All of that leads up to this. All human-computer interactions are essentially emotional. And if you build the right foundations, as I shared so far, you can intentionally, deliberately tackle emotional design to reach a level of influence, delight, and loyalty from your users that hasn't been possible until recently. As with all aspects of this HCI study, the specifics here will vary according to exactly what your users do, what they need, and what business or endeavor you're pursuing. Some systems, like mobile apps, lend themselves more to the dance than others, and it will serve you well to really understand and examine your own individual context and how that relates to your users and what kind of experience that's going to benefit them the most. So your ability to build that in and really understand the processes and the models is going to be essential. Now, how does this change the game? So this is proven already to have a significant impact on the whole realm, human-computer interactions and user experience. Because it's a process that engages human feelings, emotion, cognition, and motivation, mastering it can drive the single most important outcome that you're looking for. That's going to drive everything you do, which of course is human behavior. And honestly, I can think of no greater competitive advantage than that. It's still early in this game of this dance. So now is the time to learn about this, to learn how to apply it to your own systems. It's a science that's catching on because it works, because users are beginning to expect it, and we're really beginning to pin down exactly how to implement it. Finally, as a professional, this represents the current pinnacle of excellence in this online realm. Even now, simply with the knowledge of the dance and how it impacts users, how it drives your goals and what's possible, you're already ahead of the game. Now you can take it to the next level and decide what to do with it.